wherever you are, I want to welcome you to today's meditation time. Just get comfortable. Just allow yourself to truly just be right in that space. If it feels right to close your eyes, then do that. If you're lying down, just stretch out. If you're seated, just stay nice and tall where you are. And then just allow yourself to begin to breathe. Nice, slow, steady breaths. Just a breath in and a breath out. And just allow yourself to settle a bit more. And as you're settling, just really come into this present moment and check in with yourself at the end of this weekend, the end of this moment, this day. Just see how you feel. And as you do that, just embrace whatever you discover. And then allow yourself to just pause here. Pause and be. We've been journeying through the Yoga Sutras for quite some time. And the sutras are broken into these 4 padas, these 4 chapters. And so I want us just to pause and just reflect on the lessons that these great and ancient teachings offer to us. The first section of the first pada is called Samadhi Pada. And that is the section where we learn to calm the fluctuations of our mind. Where we learn to just sit and notice and be. And so I want us just to do that right here. Just practice watching the fluctuations. Seeing the space, the gap that maybe comes in between them. Seeing how some are big, some are so small and inconsequential. And then watch how you react as the mind gets distracted. Because in that first pada, that Samadhi Pada, this great author, this great teacher, Patanjali, he tells us that this practice can calm those fluctuations if we will only allow it. And so as we sit together, let's try that. So just continue to breathe. Watch the mind. Watch the thoughts. And notice how you respond to them. And just across these few seconds, just see what that felt like. To just watch the mind. To just be a witness. And just think to yourself how far you've come from being this person whose mind just goes as it wishes, to instead being someone who understands that the mind is busy, but that you possess the tools to lessen those agitations, to quiet those distractions. So just be grateful for that. Be so grateful for the tools and the resources that you have within you. The fluctuations will never completely stop, but we have the capacity in us. As we learn in this first Samadhi Pada, we have the capacity to steady them. Just be so grateful for that. And then we were journeying through the second pada, the second chapter of the Yoga Sutras, the Sadhana Pada. And this is where Patanjali taught us about all the practices, about how to breathe and how to move and how to sit and how to be, how to interact with each other. And we got to about the end of that second chapter, and this verse taught us about asana. And I find it so interesting that many of us have come to yoga through the body, through asana, hundreds and hundreds of postures, yet Patanjali spends one verse talking about it. Out of 196 Yoga Sutras, he talks about it in one verse. And he says, Sthira Sukhamasana. Asana is intended to bring steadiness to the body. And so just reflect here for a second and just think about how many times you've been on a yoga mat, how many times you've stood or you've sat or you've folded or you've stood on one foot. And all these different ways that you've moved your body, just reflect here on the steadiness that it has brought you over the years, over the days, over the months. And be so grateful for that. Samadhi Pada, the first one, is about steadiness of the fluctuations of our mind. Sadhana Pada is about the steadiness of our body through our yoga practice. And then he goes on into this third chapter, this Vibhuti Pada, the chapter on accomplishments. And he teaches us that when you can bring your attention and your focus to one point, you will have discovered the gift of meditation. When you can bring your attention and your energy to one point, you will have discovered the gift of meditation. And it's there, he teaches us, you will feel steadiness again and again and again. And so the theme of these 3 chapters, these many, many sutras that he has written, the theme is steadiness. It was the theme 2,500 years ago as he wrote them. And as we think about the movement and the busyness of our lives, it is the theme today. Steadiness. And so I'd like us just to pause before we begin to really journey through that 4th pada in the coming days and weeks. I'd like us to pause. And each of us in our own space, with our own reflections, just think about this idea of steadiness. What does it feel like in your life? Where do you long to have it a bit more? And then perhaps most importantly, what are we doing to cultivate it? In that first section he says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, this practice will calm the fluctuations of your mind. But that means that we have to practice. And in chapter 2 he says, Sthira Sukham Asana. The movement of your body through these postures will bring steadiness to the physical parts of you. But we've got to move our bodies with purpose and intention. And then in that third one he says, when you can bring all of your energy and all of your attention to one focus, you'll discover the gift of meditation and through that find steadiness. But that means we have to work at bringing our attention and our focus to one point. And so I want us just to reflect on that in our own lives, not to criticize ourselves, not to evaluate or judge, but just to think. We want steadiness. We want it in our relationships. We want it in our physical body. We want it in our thoughts, in our energy, in our world. What does our practice look like in order for it to be a reality for us every single day? And so again, we're not judging ourselves. Just check in and see. What does it look like for you? And I'll check in and see, what does it look like for me? And then while you sit, just imagine, what could it look like? I assure you that steadiness is possible every single day. It is possible in every aspect of our lives. We just have to practice to get there. And so let's just each sit in our own space with our own reflections. What does steadiness look like now? And what are you doing to nurture it and cultivate it? Bringing gentle awareness back to the next breath coming in. Just notice what you saw. Notice what you felt. Notice what you discovered. We have these conditioned ways of being. Many of us have learned them over the years, and they've stuck. Doesn't mean that they're all wrong or that they're all bad. But we've learned across time about the human condition that when things around us tend to be unsteady or unstable, rather than coming back inward and relying on the steadiness within, we tend to move toward that instability, toward that chaos, toward that sense of unsteadiness. But what if we tried it a different way going forward? I assure you, it works. My world around me is just as chaotic and unsteady and unstable as yours. There is noise, there is confusion, there's frustration, there's division, because I live in the same world as each of you. But what I have learned over the years is that when those things begin to persist around me, I have the capacity to go inward and not only steady myself because of what this practice has offered, but to become a steady force within the chaos and the instability. And so I want you just to give yourself some grace. First, recognizing that the world is a chaotic place, but I believe that 2,500 years ago when Patanjali said these things, his world was also chaotic. And so as you give yourself some grace and just recognize that all of that around you is out of your control, but you have the capacity within you to steady the fluctuations of your mind through this practice, to steady the body through the practice of asana, and to steady all the parts of you through that one-pointed focus of meditation. Those tools will serve you no matter what life brings your way. But it starts with a steadiness within. And so in the coming days, don't get so caught up in noticing what's around you. Sit and begin to notice what is within you. The steadiness of the breath, the steadiness of the mind, the steadiness of the body, the steadiness of you. So together, let's close our practice with just a big breath in and out. So sit up nice and tall or stretch out long and take a big, slow, deep breath in. And feel the security of that inhale. And then exhale as you are ready, letting go of whatever you don't need. Steadiness. We'll be heading into the 4th Yoga Sutra chapter, this chapter on our soul, our beautiful, light-filled soul. And let's embark upon this journey with a sense of steadiness in all the other parts of us, which will allow us to peer into that soul and see exactly who we really are. I wish you a night and a day and a week of steadiness. Namaste.